Great. I remember our first conversation after your introductory. You talked about your time with the Liberty at the inception of the league, how you said you spent time in each borough to become one with the city and the culture. And you said you plan on doing the same here with Chicago. I'm curious, where are you with that, and kind of what are a few words that you feel are synonymous with the city that your team can exude?
Well, I did something all by myself, getting out into the city, and I decided to take my little boat tour. And I actually did it at the wrong time. It's pretty cool. Did it at the wrong time, but I got an opportunity to get out and to hear about the city. I got to hear about, for some people, it might not mean anything, but these things mean something to me. Just about hearing about the buildings, it meant a lot to me. And one building, there's two buildings, I can quite remember exactly what, but I'm gonna remember this. But instead of and it was probably 60 years apart of the building, 60 years apart of these two buildings. And as this other building was built 60 years later, instead of what we would say was disrespectful to that building, you really changed it. It was a compliment to the building. And that's what we want to do. Is there's a great deal of history here, a great deal of sports history here. All we want to do is compliment that. We don't want to compete against it. We want to compliment that. And that's what I learned on my boat ride, is just that building, those two buildings, 60 years apart, didn't compete against one another to get a little movement or to get a little space. They complemented one another. And that was big. When I saw that, I said, this is excellent for me today. That was one lesson that I've learned already, is how this city was complementing instead of competing. And we don't want to do that with history. We want to complement it. We want everybody to begin to speak about it again, be able to speak about it again with us being spoken about in it as well.
Last time we spoke, you talked about how you played more on the wing in high school. Mm-hmm. Obviously, in college, you played a lot more at the 5. Now it seems like you're playing a little bit more 4 in the W so far. I'm curious, that versatility is different, yeah. But what makes your particular versatility different?
Just being able to get the rebound and put the ball on the floor. I think I have a lot of quickness around the basket, and even just getting up and down the court. I can guard all 5 positions. As you can see, I can switch on point guards and get steals. That's just something I love to do. Being able to play 6'7", 6'8" in any night. Obviously, the strength might not be there, but I have a really good mentality of just being able to make smart moves, make smart deflections and passes and stuff. So just being able to have, I'm really open to anything. I'm obviously open to playing whatever position my coach puts me at. Sometimes, like last night, I had to play the 5 because Camilla was down. Camilla definitely would have taken on JJ if she could have played for sure, and I could play more to 4. So I've always been down to do whatever for the team. And like I said, I'm going to continue to work on my game and continue to do things that can help me and help this team.
Yeah, so obviously with so much newness around the team, I think it's getting a lot of attention, but I think maybe one of the biggest and most impactful is that you all will now be being coached by a black woman in the league that's predominantly black. I was just curious, what have been your early observations of having Teaspoon there, and just how, I don't want to compare it to other situations, but how different has it been in uniqueness from the coaches you all have had in the past?
I would say it's really refreshing to have a coach that she doesn't feel like she has to come in and fix us. Like, she's a head coach, her first year as a head coach, and coming into a league that she's familiar with, but obviously is different from when she played. And she doesn't feel like she needs to fix us. She just allows us to be our own players, and she just enhances that by her energy and obviously guidance and IQ. But she just allows us to be who we are. And for me, I've been in the league for a while now, and to have a coach like that that just lets you take a breath and be who you are as a player, it's refreshing because it brings the best out of everybody. And I think you guys saw last night, we were just ourselves. We were having fun. We didn't have to overthink it. We worked with one another, and that all comes from her just letting us play. And yeah, it's been very refreshing.
For both of y'all, just obviously y'all played a lot of basketball, had a lot of different coaches collegially as well as in the professional. I'm curious, what makes Coach Teresa Weatherspoon unique from any other coach you all have had?
She reminds me a lot of Nikki Collin. As soon as I got here, I just felt an instant connection. She's a player's coach. She's played before. She's been in my shoes. And I think that's why I can connect with her. And I really, yeah. I don't want to go too much on it.
Nah, we can sit up here all day and talk about Spoon. Honestly,
She cool, y'all. Like,
yeah, she's the foundation of this organization right now. And you know, her energy is, you know, contagious. It's in, you know, it's for us to be able to have access to that every day. I think challenges us and how we can be better, you know, in our personal lives and both on and off the floor. And being able to mimic that, you know, the sky is truly the limit for this organization. You know, I know personally for me, for her to take a chance on me, and I'm sure that everyone else can feel the same, you know, she can relate to what it's like not being chosen first and being able to see the potential, and she became a Hall of Famer from not being chosen first, you know, and just instilling that type of confidence in each one of her players. I think it will be a joy to watch who gets the opportunity to be able to put on that uniform and not only represent the organization, but most importantly represent her.
Obviously, at South Carolina, you played for a legendary coach and legendary point guard, Don Staley. Now, naturally, coming to the league, you have an opportunity to do the same with Teresa Weatherspoon. I'm curious, what similarities do you see between the two in terms of personality or leadership or energy?
I don't really like to compare people, but they're very similar. I mean, they both have like energy. Like, they want to see you do great. Their personality is really strong. And they big on family, which is something that's really important for me. Like, first day I got here, I was talking to Spoon, and she was telling me how much she was big on family, and Coach Staley is also big on family. So I think they just competitors, they want to win, and they have a championship mentality, so it's very similar.
First question is going to be for Dana. It's going to kind of be 2 in 1. So the first one being, what have you learned about your leadership in the time that you spent growing into your role from last season to this season as well as overseas? And then also, what are you looking to improve upon most this upcoming season?
Okay, for the leadership one, I would say just also leading by example as well. Showing them that I'm always going to be working hard and I'm always going to be doing what I need to do. Leading by example is important, as well as communicating. I feel like I've been very vocal and just knowing what the coaches want, so I can make sure that I want to be an extension of the coach on the court. So just knowing what she wants and making sure that everybody is comfortable out there and putting them in positions to be successful is something that I'm really focusing on this year too, and that kind of answers your second one. Point guard wise, I feel like I just want to make the right decisions. I think getting people in catch and shoot positions, getting diamond and rip drive situations in Kennedy Carter because they're so explosive and they can get to the basket, getting Marina in some stagger screens and getting her open looks is going to be important for me this year, I feel like, because I feel like I can get my shot off when I need to and when I have to. But focusing on the other things like that, and obviously defense is something that I'm going to be really focused on this year too. I feel like that pushes our team, and that it starts with me. So just seeing me picking up 94 feet and being into everybody, they got to feed off of it. They don't have a choice. Yeah, it started with me, and I'm excited to take on this role, and I'm going to be the best that I could be.
And then for Izzy, just kind of speaking to the front court group as a whole, what have been your assessments of like the abundance of versatility that y'all have compiled?
I mean, I feel like we got everything we need. Like, we got the height, we got the skill, we got the energy, just the defense, and just to go into like a post group like that, it's just like, it's comforting, because it's like if something happens or whatever the case may be, you have somebody ready to step in right after that to be ready to, you know, take the assignment. So overall, I feel comfortable with the group.
So looking at the just general women's college basketball realm, South Carolina known for having elite posts, UConn, elite guards, other schools, Tennessee, elite posts. What makes Irish guards unique, and what gives them a different type of staying power and uniqueness in the W?
I think for a lot of the guards in the league now, it started with Coach McGraw and also with Neho, who was our assistant back in college, who's now the head coach, as you know. I think it started with those two, with Coach McGraw as the head coach, Neho as the assistant. And I think the way they recruit, what kind of guards they look for, you know, it's not really like what guard is putting up the most points in high school or what guard, you know, is ranked the highest. They're actually going to high school games and seeing how they react with their teammates, you know, how they react to their coaches, their body language, all sorts of stuff. And I think they do a good job of just kind of putting the pieces together and what they need. So, you know, you have the Skylers and you have the Jules, you have the Enriquez, but you also have the Marinas, the Jackies, And now you have, the Olivias, the Hannahs. So I think they just do a really good job of recruiting and knowing who will fit well within their offense and within, their program.
Hey, y'all. I think what's unique about the women's side of basketball is that the overseas season presents an opportunity to get game reps against different types of opponents. For you two, obviously, you spent that time together this past overseas season. I'm curious, where have you seen your two-player game grow, and kind of what have you seen growth individually from one another as well?
Well, we had a really high usage of pick and roll overseas, and I think it kind of translated into some chemistry over here. Just, E setting great screens for me, knowing what I like to do, and then me also putting E in good positions where she can be successful too. So that's always good to get extra reps, especially because this was my first time playing with E before last year. So that was great.
Yeah, I mean, she said it well, just getting reps in, finding spaces on the floor, where to be, being able to communicate with each other, and also like just seeing how she was working, like whether it was on her game, on her body. I know she set the goal of making sure that she was stronger and more physical, and I have no doubt in my mind that she's that, because I've seen the work that she put in, and so it's cool for me to actually like physically be around and see it, and like be able to support her as she's trying to achieve her goals.
With Teresa, she was speaking to one in the field or roster in the team that was synonymous with the city they played in. Obviously, with you being kind of the puppet master behind pulling the strings on things, do you feel you all were successful in that? And just what are your general observations of the level of skill and versatility that you all have added to this roster?
Yeah, when we met for the first time, Coach and I realized very quickly how aligned we really were with how we saw the game and how we wanted to play. And it's allowed us to go after the same types of players. We've said a lot, we want to have a lot of energy. We always wanted to bring an exciting product, to the city. We know we have amazing fans. We're seeing it already. Obviously, the ticket sales are incredible. But there's a lot of eyes on us, even regardless of where the world sees us as a team right now. But we've got skilled players, we have versatile players, and our rookies are really into improving. So we have a staff built on player development, and we're hitting it every single day. And like I said, there's just a lot of versatile pieces here already. And in a few years from now, it'll be very interesting to see how far the rookies have come. Or we have a lot of youth on the roster, so the more work we put in every day, the more skill set improves and stuff like that. So it'll be exciting as we go.
Thank you.
Chris.